I got a
Well,
text Laura.
welcome everyone.
She might not be working and she'd be able to have
Won't be
lunch,
able
so.
to read this all now, you won't be able to.
Especially since she put in 100 hours work in 1 week. It's crazy. I hate that place.
Not sick all the time. Can you read this?
See, there is something I hate. A place. Not a person.
Just inanimate objects.
Yeah, but they were working this kid to death. And I said to her, you get the job with it. Don't let them know how smart you are.
Oh no, yeah. Oh, that's bad. I learned that years ago. Keep it down low.
Oh my God, she's working for this supposedly second best law firm in the United States. And they are working her to death. It's so unfair. And they don't care if they call her on Sunday.
Of course not. Oh, I know the feeling.
Oh, it's horrible. They don't care what day.
You know what the Crystal Cathedral is? They used to be on TV. They're not on.
Yeah, well, there's the Hour of Power is still on with the grandson.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah,
I've seen that in years.
yeah.
Anyway, he used to work in the Crystal, back in his youth,
My first job. Yeah,
Crystal Cathedral in California.
yeah. 10,000 members,
Television.
Wow.
400 staff, 8 ministers. Yeah, it was a real
And
circus.
they didn't care what time they called you either, right?
Well, they don't care. Yeah,
It's
that's all right. And I didn't care either. Nobody cared.
And Laura doesn't care either. She said, look, I'm not gonna do this forever. I'm gonna give them till the end of this year, then I'm gonna look for a job. I really,
Yeah.
she wanted to do pro bono work so bad.
Yeah, well, yeah,
And that's what she'll do.
yeah.
She
It's
gets
good.
there.
Yeah.
I wish she'd hurry up.
Yeah, you gotta cut your teeth.
So this is our last Bible study.
Yeah, this will be it.
This is
Okay,
it.
we have to
Until-
get on it now.
Yeah, we're all over it.
Let's get on it now. Here comes Margaret.
Here's Margaret King.
Hi, Margaret. It's more comfortable.
I'm sorry, and I'm sorry about that, because you're gonna. I know, me too. We got 3 layers on, but yeah, don't get used to it.
It's true.
Don't get used to what?
The heat.
It feels wonderful.
Yeah, it's nice. It's not bone chilling.
We are just.
On Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday wasn't terrible. It was cool, but it wasn't horrible.
I didn't know.
Here,
Dinner ready?
well, we're transitioning, you know, and.
No, I knew something was happening, but
Yeah, we're transitioning. Yeah, we've.
really jacket episode.
I know it's we're not a mess, but it's a transition. So we're going. You know, we're getting heat pumps. That's the goal, and then we'll have air conditioning in the summer too, of course. And but it all takes time to roll this stuff over. It takes
Hard
forever.
to get those things too.
It's hard to get the
Made-
people.
And those heat pumps are made in Japan and
Yeah,
China.
yeah, right. Mitsubishi.
The best
yeah.
ones.
Yeah, Mitsubishi, yeah. So, things are gonna improve, and be a little more reliable, we hope. So we'll have the electric, it's a whole system.
Fixing things up is wonderful.
What's that?
Fixing things up is wonderful.
Well, and we've got the money, so we're gonna spend it,
It's great.
and we're gonna get storm windows for the the social room where the fireplace is, and so that'll be more user friendly, and it's we've been talking about it for years, but we're moving ahead. So
Can't even type anymore.
yeah, there's nothing more repulsive than success.
And success.
Spoken like a real Calvinist. So I wanted to start today. Well, this will be our last class, right? Until, I don't know, we can talk about it when you want to start up again. It's fine with me.
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible. Well, we can do a little bit of that now if you want to. I mean, it's going to take a while to get through this. We know that, right? But
It's going to be still on Tuesdays.
if you want to, yeah. Everything's up for grabs, whatever you want.
Because I make documents.
Tuesday works really good for me.
Me too.
And that gives me a kind of a free whatever happens on Wednesday is what I like. So I kind of pack it in on Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday, if there's,
I like Tuesday.
yeah, liturgy or at the liturgy, So that helps. That helps. To have one kind of open day. It's not a free day, but it's an open day on Wednesday. I shoot for that. Doesn't always work. That's okay. A couple things. One is why we're gonna look at chapter 4 today, and it has to do with persecutions of the disciples. There's two things on my mind before we get started. Why would the Jewish leadership and the Romans have a problem with these nice people?
Because they didn't want to give up their power.
I know, but they're not even powerful. What is the problem?
What they want.
They might wear away some people into their group from the others that accepted power.
Stealing sheep.
They might erode, steal sheep.
Yeah, that's what ministers they call that. Sheep stealing.
But
Yeah.
their whole religion was about rules. And Christ, and they knew Jesus wasn't, and these guys aren't following their rules, and neither is their leader following the Jewish rules.
Yeah.
So, I guess they wanted to put them down before they took over power.
Okay, yeah. Power.
They're competing for influence on people. You know.
Yeah, say more. What's the new influence?
Well, there's
what is it?
people of God, and you have to, it's not all of this earth, and also
No.
just the fact that Jesus, well, for the Jewish leaders, Jesus is sort of saying, well, rules aren't everything. You need to change that a little bit, and the elders, or whatever you want to call them, they're comfortable in their position, and Jesus is messing things up for them.
Okay. So there's a little. They bring chaos.
Yeah.
Christianity, early Christians bring a certain amount of chaos
Okay, thank you.
into the mix. Yeah, that makes sense. What's the difference? What really is the difference between a Jewish person and a Christian?
Nothing.
Nothing. So what's the problem? We're going to see these guys
Gotta
get.
follow the power, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, there were the ideas of Christianity all are expressed in the Old Testament in one place or another, like do unto others.
Yeah. Right.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe that was too broad a statement, but essentially they're all in there, but then the Jewish tradition was so high-bound in rules, although I don't know if at the time of Christ it was so high-bound as it became later under the Hasidim
Mm-hmm.
and like which side of bed you get up. I think that's I've never read Leviticus, but I have a feeling there's a lot of stuff in there about that.
There are a lot of different, rules and
A lot of rules.
a lot of rules in Leviticus. Yeah, it is a good question. Anybody else want to belly up to the bar and talk about it? What's the difference between? All right, this is happening. Something's emerging. People are really attracted to it. But what really is the difference?
The Jewish people think they're special,
Okay.
and Jesus is saying everybody's the same. You treat everybody the same.
So there's a.
So they're
Okay.
threatened that they're not special anymore.
Yeah.
That's right, that's the best.
Maybe that would.
That's it.
But aren't they supposed to usher in, and aren't the Jewish people supposed to usher in a new day? Bless you. The Abrahamic covenant, and this is Genesis 12, it's early, when God comes to Abraham and says, I've said this before, I will bless you, Abraham. You will become a blessing. This is a paraphrase. You will become a blessing, and through you, all the nations of the earth will bless themselves. That's the Abrahamic, that's the core, right? It's like an onion. You know, some people, theologians have said, because it gets restated many times in the Old Testament. The core of the onion, so to speak, is that one. Genesis 12. Jewish believers and scholars would ascend to that idea too. That's it. So it already, early, it's already, God is already pointing to a particular person who will have a particular tribe, who will then have a particular nation, but it's for blessing beyond themselves. And now it's happening.
Yeah, but I think what happened was they had a lot of problems with other people.
Yeah.
Who were trying to take their land. Basically being their enemy physically in various ways, tried to enslave them and, all the bad things the other people were doing to them. Mm-hmm. And that caused them to become cohesive and to basically forget about that part of that.
Right.
Covenant and to become self-protective against all these.
Yeah.
And if you read Psalms, they were just always being attacked and attacking. And please God help me beat them.
Yeah. Beat up our enemies,
Evolved into us against them, basically.
It really gets ossified. I think that's the word. It gets ossified. The Abrahamic covenant, is moved away, and the formation of the nation gets ossified. Does that make sense? And after a while, we do the same thing. It happens all the time, by the way. Our country's going through that right now, right? And has been. We're ossified. We forget about inalienable rights, for instance. That we're created for freedom and happiness. It's crazy that you'd start a nation with those words. That all men are created equal. All that we kind of set that aside. And now we're doing this. It's easy to do. It's easy for a nation to do it. They do it all the time,
I just want to know, when did they start discriminating against the Jews?
Forever.
Well, yeah, they've
Just
been oppressed, and the Babylonians took them away, and so there's all that going on.
Why?
Because they're talented. The Babylonians just went down. They did this not just to Israel, but they did it to every conquered country. They would come in, conquer that country, and then they would strip off, peel off the cream, and take them back to Babylon and put them to work.
See, maybe they weren't a big enough group to start with. Maybe they weren't big enough to.
Well, I know they say that it
Yeah.
was the Jews who built the Colosseum because they were slaves.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But I don't know about that. But yeah, they weren't maybe big enough. They had their heyday with King David, and so they would go back, and even what we read on Sunday, it's oh great, the Messiah has come, the Christ has come to restore the Davidic kingdom. That's what we're about, because we're about this. We're not about this anymore, right? We're about this. And so we're going to get rid of our enemies. That was all in our passage for Sunday, if you remember that, with John the Baptist. And he spoke like that. He baptized Jesus with that in his head. This isn't just for, the world. This is for us. It's all about make Israel great again. That theme, you can read history that way. That there's a rise and a fall of nations, and right when they start to slide, you hear that kind of talk everywhere. Make Russia great again, make Great Britain great again, make America great again. You hear it all the time, all through history, because they want to regain what they Yeah, it's sentiment. It's sentiment. Those were good days, and you hear that. You will hear that in the New Testament too, with the advent of Jesus or the promise of Jesus. Is great. We've got this new person on board who's going to get us back to those great days again. When we have Palm Sunday, for instance, that's what that's about. That's not about, oh great, the Christ has come. He's coming into Jerusalem to save everyone, to be there for everyone. That's not what's in their head. They're laying down the palms to say, this is our guy who's going to get us back to a Davidic experience again, a political experience, maybe a moral experience. But, we will be empowered again through this person. So, hail Jesus, here he comes on a donkey. That was a little disturbing. They were hoping for a little different animal than they wanted an eagle on his hand or something, So they must have cocked their heads when they saw him coming over the hill. Like, what's the deal with the donkey, Should be an M1 tank or something like that, right? I mean, that's real politic. So anyway, we've got this movement, this transition where people are by the thousands, right? If you believe this stuff. By the thousands are being baptized. They're converting. They're changing their minds, and it's when there's a movement like that, you can almost always predict that there's going to be a pushback, because that's how systems work, right? It's like a mobile. You move one piece of a mobile, and it all moves. That's what we've got here. But there's another aspect to this. And we see this also throughout history, and that has to do with personal freedom. Personal freedom, in most cases, including this one, including America, is, I would say, would you say the hope of all people? You want to be free. It's part of the human condition. This is natural law. I would say that it's inalienable in terms of a human being, that they are born and created in such a way for freedom. How does that work usually in systems and nations? Not too good. Our nation started that way,
Right.
All men are created free, equal, right? Except for you guys over here, right?
Justice for all.
Yeah, justice for all, right? And that's a beautiful thing, and it resonates with those of us that can participate in that. Not all of us. For those that can participate in that, it's fantastic, right? Otherwise, I would have been running Parsons of Whitehall after my dad left, right? Be a department store owner, which I think it would have been fabulous. He said, you can have the department store, or you can have the restaurant, or you can have both of them. What do you want? I said, I want to go to seminary. Wrong answer. He said, can't you even be my bartender during the summers? Those were great conversations. My dad. Anyway, human freedom. What makes human freedom so dangerous? What's the problem with that?
Because you might want my job and my power, and who are you to want that? And I'm not ready to give it up.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else want to contribute? What is the downside to human freedom, human action?
Just as Trump.
It's the hierarchy, because for people to have their freedom, I'm thinking of Jane Austen now, the way they live now. In order for me to have as many horses as I want, as many carriages as I want, as big a house I want, as big a garden I want, I gotta have a lot of people working for me. And they've got a need to work for me. So I gotta keep them down. So
Yeah.
I can stay up.
They have to be needy. I mean, this is our life here in Millbrook and around here too. Peapack Gladstone, where I lived, it was that way too. We had hilltoppers and people with money. That's why we don't have heat pumps, by the way. That's the reason we don't have heat pumps right now. Is because, yes, because the contractors are working for the money.
Oh, of course.
So we can't even get people here to do it.
Oh, you mean there aren't enough people?
There aren't enough. So that's why we don't have heat. Literally, we would have had this 2-3 years ago.
I see.
Yeah, we can't get people to even show up here because they're there. What's it? There's competition, there's money. We can't compete with the money. Yeah, we had the same thing in Peapack Gladstone.
As soon as there's a vacancy, it's like, with the Congress, right? As soon as there's a vacancy, all these people come, they want that seat.
They want the seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they want
It's competition.
the perks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But you need to make sure you have a sufficiently large underclass, was what I was trying to say. I don't know if anybody really thought of it that way.
Yeah.
They want to keep it that way.
by its very nature, you need lots and lots of people down there.
Oh, and that's where they want to keep them.
That's where you want to keep them, and that's where you need them, too. So is it the case that every society has to have a bifurcated world? I mean, that's a good question. Must you have it?
I think there's a natural progression in that direction, that
Yep.
because people, there are always going to be people that are, really good money makers, let's put it that way, and good, like Trump's father, that kind of person, who is an empire builder, basically, and is willing to cheat the contractors and do all the bad things he did,
Yep.
just cheating. You've read all about it. And
Sure.
That's how Johnny Boy grew up. He learned how to be a power person.
Yeah.
He wasn't that much of a power person himself, because he went bankrupt several times until he got on TV. Whoa!
Yeah, but he would never.
You can even be a terrible failure and still do well,
Yeah.
right? If you have generational wealth,
Right.
right?
Right, it's a big cushion.
Generational wealth is where you want to be. As soon as you get that, and if, even if you're a failure, you're probably, depending on what the number is that you're dealing with, you're still going to be okay. And not just Trump. I mean, there are people who have legitimate lives and do well and, all that too.
I just picked him because he's such a...
Yeah, he's the most egregious example on the negative side of it. So we've got this situation. We've got this situation where John the Baptist first is saying, repent and, repent, be baptized. Right? We're going to get that. And then Jesus gets baptized. I don't know what he's got to repent about. That's a good question, right? He participates. Right? He comes to John and says, baptize, I need to be baptized. And John goes, you need to baptize me. I'm not going to baptize you. And Jesus basically says, just do it, would you? But that's the question. He's being baptized for the repentance of his sins. And that's been sort of well, that's the question, right? Why do you need to be baptized if you don't have any sins? It's a really interesting, how does he have to change his mind? What kind of trajectory of his life has to change? He's Jesus. Well,
Maybe this is just wildly speculating. Here, of course, as usual. Maybe he saw the ritual of baptism as something that would attract people.
yeah,
When we were talking about rituals.
yeah. Is he becoming one with the masses? Is that why he's doing it? I mean, that's been
He's setting an example. He saw something happening that was new. He wanted to not get on the bandwagon, but use it.
And
in a good way.
And if you see baptism not just as forgiveness of sins, but a change of mind and direction, lots of people would say, a lot of theologians would say, that's the moment where Jesus really becomes the Messiah, right there, when he comes out of that water.
That's what
He
I was
becomes-
going to say. From the story, I think the baptism of Jesus is the beginning of his true ministry.
Yeah. I see it that way too. I see it that way
And
too.
that was sort of a symbol, and then God says from the,
What does God say when he comes up?
You are my beloved son.
In whom I am well pleased. And here we go. And
And I think that's what it was.
I do too.
Baptism.
And the interesting thing is, I mean, it sort of launches Jesus into his ministry.
Yep.
And the same thing is what we hope for with everyone else that's baptized. It's going to launch you into your life, into your, eventually, your ministry. We do.
Who launched, I forgot his name, the one who was.
John Baptist.
Yeah, why was he doing that?
Well, he got a promise from the angel Gabriel, who came to his father, Zechariah, and the angel says, that you're going to inaugurate the Messiah. That's what you're going to do. That was last Sunday, Ruthie. It was a fabulous sermon. I only have one every 5 to 7 years. So you missed it.
Zechariah was what?
Sorry?
200 years old or something? Zechariah at that time.
That's a different one.
That's
You're thinking
different.
somebody else. But so here we go. It happens for Jesus too. He has a freedom because what did he do professionally before that? He was a carpenter. He's a carpenter,
Oh, that's very important.
right? Yeah, we need those. I can't get those either. I've got one now, but yeah, he's the son of a carpenter. He is a carpenter. He will always be a carpenter. If he gets married and has kids, they're going to be carpenters. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And so even in the example of Jesus, he's free. He's free to become a Messiah, just like we are free. It spreads out this ministry or this message, not just for Jesus, but for everybody else. It's electric. People are saying, "You got to be kidding me! I can work for the second best law firm in the country." I mean, as horrible as that is, but you know what I mean? We have choices. We have agency, and it really shakes people up. Still to this day, what would happen if African Americans or Native Americans would finally just sort of rise up? You see some of it, right? And there's tension. There's always tension, it seems. When let's say a black person comes up, works for the second best law firm in the country, right? Who do they think they are?
Right.
Well, this will tell you who they are. You see what I mean? So there's pushback. Well, it must have been affirmative action. There's something not right here. Somebody was cheating. It's always that way, right? You don't belong. You weren't born in America, so you're not even American. Or you were born in America, but your parents weren't born here. It's always something, always something. I had a tiny experience with that at Calvin College, where it's a Christian school, very conservative Christian school. It's even worse now. So you go through, orientation and you sign up for classes and all that. And you're matriculated, is that the word?
Yes.
So here I am, right? There's all these tables. I can still picture it. We're all going through. These are all Christian Reformed kids. I'm a Reformed church minister. That's the old denomination. Christian Reformed broke off from that about 150 years ago because we weren't Christian enough, right? That's always happens, and we probably aren't, but guilty as charged. But we went through the you go through the line, right? Who are you? Blah blah blah. Da, da, da. Where's your pastor's recommendation? I don't have a pastor's recommendation. I don't have a pastor. I don't go to church. And they looked at me like I had 8 heads. You can't. I said, I'm a Christian. That's all I got. That's all I can give you. So I didn't go to church. Never went to church until I was 20. So I'm 17 years old going through the line at Calvin. And they said, well, how can you be here? You can't be here.
Why can't you?
Because you don't have a pastor's recommendation. You don't go to church.
Rules.
Right? So it's like you made it, but you don't make it.
Right.
You see what I mean? And that experience is going on here too. You're never going to make it. You're going to be a carpenter.
So then what happens next to you?
Well, I said, can I just get anybody can give me a recommendation? I said, there's a teacher who's a Christian in my high school where I came from. I mean, would that do? So they had to get up and they talked to,
They weren't gonna let you.
the admissions person, and who I got to know and worked with his wife at Pine Rest. A year later, and they said, I guess so, that was gracious of them, right?
That's nice.
It was nice. So now I had the delight of going through Calvin College, which was a nightmare. So thanks a lot. But yeah, it's that, you can't get in there. You can't go there. And this is saying over and over again, yes, you can. Yeah, you can. And it's disturbing to the powers. Institutions like sameness. They like stability. They don't like hurly-burly. They don't like chaos. They like things neat and tidy. And there's reason for that too, of course. I mean, we're a little bit like that, I think. But
All these people being fired because they won't do something that somebody wants them to do.
that's right. The bureaucrats, the bureaucrats, the DOJ, the FBI, you name it. They're just doing their jobs. This is what we do, and judges, you get a wolf in the White House. I don't even know if the White House is still there anymore, is it? I mean, you just rip that down, rip it all down, rip it all down, rip it all down. Yeah, everything he touches dies, it all dies. People, institutions, everything dies right behind him. But anyway, he wants to rule, Donald Trump wants to rule over a burnt, scorched earth.
Right.
That's what he wants. It's like Mufasa in The Lion King. Just like that.
Well, we were talking about this movement of the Christians coming into the church. And I sort of see what's happening in this country now as being a sort of movement that is building and is going to do something about it. I mean, I think,
Yeah, we'll see.
I think what we're reading about here gets repeated over and over. Every country has its caste system, and then you've got the ones that want to keep those caste systems, and the ones down there have to stay there, and you've got to stay there. And I think,
That would be very boring.
Well,
we do that.
well, you're talking like in America.
Caste system, I mean, I
Right.
lived through a really bad
All you
part
have
of
to
it.
do is live in Millbrook to know that.
Yeah, well, we have it here for sure, but it's all over the place.
Oh, I know.
When I go back home to Whitehall, I don't have to stop at a stop sign, because I'm from there. Just blow right through it. If you're visiting from Chicago, you got to stop.
Yeah.
So-
But it's not.
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
It's
Just
not
blow right past
places
it.
like this. Every place has a caste system.
Yes.
No matter how.
That's right.
how-
So does this place. So
Yeah,
does this place.
That's right.
Right.
I mean, I didn't grow up in any real expensive, wonderful place and where everybody was like hilltoppers or.
Yeah, right.
But they certainly had their caste
Sure.
system.
Right,
I
that's
mean,
right.
it's
Of
not
course.
just, well, I guess it partially has to do with the rich people, but
Yep. Money and power, right?
money
right.
and power,
Money and
that's
power.
always it.
But what happens to a person? Let's say, I don't know if it's even true, I think it is, that human beings are endowed with inalienable rights.
Right.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of freedom. If the founding fathers, if they're right, I mean, and I think they get it from here. They get it from here in one way or the other. That's, you can argue that. But let's say that's true. Then what happens to a person that doesn't get it? What happens to a human being that doesn't get life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? What happens to a person?
They're not gonna move up.
They become very unhappy.
You become unhappy.
Around knifing people.
Yeah.
That happens every day in New York City.
Right. This is the kind of stuff that we talked about at the hospital. What happens to people? if their foundation is messed with, you roar. You act out. You might hurt yourself. You might hurt others. You might sabotage yourself because you're stuck. Your family, in our case, we were working with families. There are families, and a lot of them very well-meaning, really nice people. They would stuff their kids, stuff them, and then like a sausage, grind them and put them into this place. That it was their expectation. My dad wasn't heavy-handed with this, but that was his hope. You're going to run the store and the restaurant. That's why you're here. I mean, he was nice about it when I said no, but there are a lot, and depending on the pressure that you put on a person, a son or a daughter in this case, they are going to roar in their own way.
Well, sometimes they might, like the Zura, what is it called? That Mexican restaurant that just closed.
La Puerta.
Puerta, apparently the owner, an Egyptian guy, went back to Egypt. I heard some stories about that, but anyway, his son worked for him. He gave his son another restaurant that he has now, La Angel or something.
Yeah.
I hope that son's happy with his restaurant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
maybe he's happy.
And maybe he is.
Another son might not have been, or daughter.
Right, and you can make a choice and say, yeah, I want to work for my dad, and then I'm going to take over the business. That happens all the time too, if it's a choice.
That's right.
But this is what's in motion in the Book of Acts, is people are saying now by the thousands, I've got a choice. I'm going to make a life for myself. God is involved in it. So there's a kind of a tuning fork. We see God at work in terms of human freedom, human agency, human calling, a calling, and we don't have to live in these castes anymore, and that freaks the powerful out, freaks them out. So does that describe it well enough?
Yeah, we're all the disciples of the 12 disciples. Were they all Jewish?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
And then Paul was not.
No, Paul was Jewish too.
Yes.
Paul was a Pharisee. I mean, he studied under Gamaliel. You couldn't get better. He went to Harvard, and he knew the law like backwards and forwards, and was
brilliant.
Sorry?
I said he was brilliant, and everybody loved him.
Absolutely brilliant.
Could not believe.
He was the defender of the faith. He was Chuck Colson.
Sorry about that. I know.
Yeah. This is the right way to do things, and I'm going to tell you how it works. And if you don't work it that way, I'm coming after you. We'll see that in a minute. Right? He was the hammer.
I think when I was growing up, I didn't know I was poor. And we were poor. We had one skirt, my sisters and I, we had one skirt, one blouse. My mother would wash it every night, so we looked great going to school. But my mother, I think she went through so much as a child that she just grew up too fast. And she would say, now listen, you can say anything you want to say, as long as you're always polite and a lady. So when you go to school, if the teacher tells you something and you think the teacher's wrong, don't take it. Raise your hand nice like a little girl would. And I think that's why I didn't know I was poor. So that's what I
We
did.
were all raised in our own caste system.
Sure. Right, with expectations and so on. But isn't it a beautiful vision? I mean, if you, for instance, see people along the Rio Grande, right, and they're trying to come over the river, which is tricky. I'm a fly fisherman. It's tricky to cross a river. A little bit dangerous too sometimes. Are these people? I mean, what do you see? Are these people your doctor? going to be your doctor? Are they going to be your lawyer? Are they going to be your engineer? Are they going to be your teacher? Who are these people? If it's true that they're inalienable rights, can those people become something?
They should be, they should be.
I know we say yes, I would certainly say yes, but a lot of people, especially the person that's in what's left of the White House, would say no. Pushback, right? So, yeah, that's right. We've got ours, and sorry, we're going to put up a wall or live in a gated community or whatever we're going to do. But that is a perennial struggle that began way before this was written, way before. So it's who are we? What are we? And this is saying, and it was a thread all the way back from Abraham, the time of Abraham, is that, look, I am God, and I've got a vision that's going to be really hard for you to get your head around and your heart around. But that's where I'm at. And then you see it, through the prophets and so on. And then finally you see it in Jesus. Its most perfected form is Jesus. It's like God, I've said this before too. I've probably said everything before. But the original covenant with Abraham is like a shaft of light. You can see it going through the Old Testament. And then it hits Jesus, the advent of Jesus, and that Jesus is like a prism, and it goes, and that's the moment. This is the moment where it's happening, right here. So, and can you stop it? Can it be stopped? It can be thwarted maybe to a degree, but how long can people be kept down?
You can keep, I think you can honor that concept. The United States, let's say, as a nation, could honor that concept. But I was reading something that was really good. But it basically said you really shouldn't have more than 15% of your population be immigrants. Let's say, I wouldn't say alien, but people that come in. You should. That was this person. And so, can it be Christian to have a country? But never mind. Is it okay for a nation to limit immigration in a certain way?
Well, it seems to me, do we have institutions that can accommodate and get people up to speed? What's that number?
That was
to me.
The idea that immigration does place some burdens.
Oh, definitely.
And
yeah.
So this person's concept was you shouldn't have more than 15. That was just that person's.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
And he was very, very sympathetic writer. He said, "This is a creedal nation. It's not all about everybody being of a certain type, a certain color, a certain whatever.
Yeah.
It's a creedal nation. We're unified by the Declaration of Independence, basically." And,
the Constitution.
But you shouldn't have more than 15% of your population be.
Great.
Which I guess that's okay.
Well, it all depends right now at this point on how much money you have. If you've got, $5 million, you can just buy a city.
Oh yeah. You get a Trump ticket or something.
Yeah, that's
some inane.
You want to let people who need refuge, from political strife and all that. And people need refuge from poverty and famine and natural disaster.
And want opportunity too. Right. There are people that just want opportunity. That's always been the case here.
But then I'm just bringing up the concept of some kind of gatekeeping. Yeah. I was never in favor of a wall. Mainly because it prevents animals from migrating.
Well, there has to be a process of some kind to help people move from that side of the Rio Grande, so to speak, to this side. What has to happen to be enculturated The Netherlands has tried that with Muslims. You know, that's 15%. The Netherlands is 15% Muslim.
Really?
Yeah, it was a mistake because they didn't want to be enculturated. They don't want the freedom. They don't want laissez-faire. They don't want, you know, the pot and this, you know, all this other stuff that
They just
that
want
they wanted jobs.
jobs.
They wanted jobs, but they don't want the life. They don't want the life. So that's been a real struggle for them. In places like Rotterdam, it's way more than 15%. So it's, you know, so then you have strongmen that come up and say, we got to get rid of these people. And that's what they're going through. Germany's going through that. Italy's going through that. Spain's going through that. You know, that's part of it too. Are you willing to be part of our family? We're going to adopt you, but you got to play by the rules,
Yeah.
right? Here and here, right? Here and here. And so that's the downside of, I would say, of taking in people. Yeah, because they may not get it, or they may say, that's your opinion, that's not mine.
I think we had such an influx of people from the countries who have all these problems with gangs, and they're bringing their families because they're
Scared,
gangs,
terrified.
and they're terrified.
Yeah.
Or they've got reason they're being beaten, they're being mistreated, and they get to the border. We have some law about that. They're supposed to be given
Asylum.
amnesty of some
Asylum,
sort, or
yeah.
asylum, and then put into the system, the immigration system. But I think there were just so many.
We're choking on it, right? We're choking on the number.
Yeah.
You're going to take 2 million people in every year?
Yeah.
3 million?
So
5 million people
what
every
is
year?
the answer? But there was some program at some point of sending some help to the people down there.
To those countries, right?
To stop
Exactly.
some of their crime.
That's right.
And because the reason.
To turn
because
down
we
the
knew
spigot.
that
Yeah.
About why people were that way.
Yeah,
Because they
right.
can't, they have to do something. They have to get food
That's right.
somehow. If your family's hungry, you're gonna go steal it out of the supermarket if you can't get it any other way. Or
That's
beat
too
up
big a
somebody
job.
else and get it.
It's too big of a job. So now we're taking over governance down there.
It's just
Now
too
they're
big.
all going to be in the Congress.
It's all a question of what's the right level and making it
Yeah.
fair,
Yeah.
trying to be fair.
Yeah.
It'll never be fair. There was a wonderful story about this guy. He's he's some kind of special Buddhist priest or something who came from Burma, I think it's Burma. There's a big Burmese community apparently in Buffalo. And they loved this guy, and he just came in there, and it's a very fast story. In so many times, I guess, place. It was really nice. But, so sometimes it works out.
Oh yeah, I think it does work out for a lot of people. By, you know,
My parents came here in 1904, and the only thing they needed was to have a place to sleep. So I guess when they stopped at Ellis Island, they were asked, you know.
Do you have a sponsor?
Sponsoring,
right?
because the sponsor's supposed to give them a bed.
Yeah, yeah, right, right.
And that's
And that may be happening too. So we got 10 minutes. You want to take a look at this? Yeah. Let's take a look at 4:1. Acts 4, verse 1. And can we read 1 through 4? Can we try that? Somebody want to take a look at it?
I don't have my new glasses yet.
I'll read.
Can anyone see?
I'll read. While Peter and John were speaking to the people, the priests, the captain of the temple, and the Sadducees came to them, much annoyed because they were teaching the people and proclaiming that in Jesus there is a resurrection of the dead. So they arrested them and put them in custody until the next day, for it was already evening. But many of those who heard the word believed, and they numbered about 5,000.
Okay, here we go.
That's nice.
Can't stop it, right? You can't stop it anymore. So the priests and the captain of the temple and the Sadducees came upon them annoyed because they were teaching the people and proclaiming in Jesus the resurrection from the dead. And how does the resurrection play into freedom?
You can't die. You're here forever.
Even death can't keep you down, right? It plays into this sense of hope and this sense of the possibility of a victorious life. In Jesus, we see in Jesus that even death can't keep him. He's even free from death. Right? That's a very orthodox position that's been around for 2,000 years, and therefore, you have that power too. You can make your way through difficulties, even death. You can use your freedom to move forward. No matter what, it's still possible, even if everything's against you.
What I don't get is that why weren't they happy to hear about the resurrection?
What keeps people from doing this?
You know,
Right?
They'd be happy to hear that it's
Because
like
their
that.
power
Right.
is going to be taken away.
Their own resurrection.
Now, to be fair, there are leading Jewish persons, Nicodemus being one, right? Nicodemus and who was the other person? Joseph Arimathea. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, great. You know, he provided Jesus with his tomb, his family tomb. So that's where he's buried. That's where he was buried. But yeah, there are some that are getting it, and it also says in the Gospels that there are followers of Jesus who were Pharisees and priests and so on, but they're not going to say anything. You know, we're just going to keep quiet. You know, because there's a threat. To what? I mean, how many people in Congress think Donald Trump is a normal human being? 0 is the answer. How many people in Congress think he is nuts?
Yeah.
Everyone. I mean, you could. I mean, you know, with all due respect. Yeah, he is a malevolent, crazy, horrible fool. Everyone knows that. Right? Everyone knows it.
Except for one guy.
Well, they might use him. You know, there are others that, you know, will manipulate him and use him for their own, right? So they feign, you know, he's great and all this stuff. Right. But there are very few people who are doing anything about it. Well, there are some. I mean, Democrats are doing it, but that, you know, they're not doing really anything about it, really. I mean, they say this and that and the other.
It's fear.
Words are cheap. It's fear.
They're afraid.
They're afraid.
He's got all the departments under his, you know, control.
Right, and if they speak out against him, or if they speak of a different vision, like this is not what we have in mind, you know, I mean, I know what a Republican looks like. It's not that. You know, we have a different vision than this person, but they're terrified.
They're scared to death.
Right.
They can't even breathe without worrying if he's gonna do something
Right.
to them.
Murkowski is the only one, the Senator Murkowski from Alaska, is the only one that actually spoke it. We're terrified of this guy.
Yeah, he said.
She, yeah.
I don't know why. I guess most of them were men,
That's right.
and they're afraid if they lose their jobs,
Yeah.
how are they ever going to feed their families?
Well, they will because they have a great pension.
Yeah, I know.
And they will have insurance for the rest of their lives. Fantastic insurance. You know, wonderful insurance. Yeah, so there's something else. They're going to have a fantastic pension. They're going to have a fantastic health care for the rest of their lives, even if you serve one term.
Listen,
right?
I would put a stop to it.
Well, but that's not the situation right now. So still, why would they do it? If you have really nothing to lose as far as pension and, you know.
There are threats.
Wait, what did you
Why is
say?
Martin
Threats.
doing great stuff? But it's because he puts this message out to his thugs that he let out of prison,
Yeah.
that we don't like this woman, go get her, and she
Well, now-
starts getting all kinds of
Hate mail and death
threats.
threats and
Her
so on.
children get threatened, her
Right.
family gets threatened.
Right.
It's him.
Yeah.
He is saying, persecute that person,
Yeah.
and go get her, or go get him.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why they're so fearful, I think.
Just of their lives. They're afraid for their lives at
Yes,
this stage.
and their families.
And the families.
Slotkin, she has, I guess it would be true of all 6 of them who said, you know, you arm service people, you don't have to obey illegal orders. So
Yeah.
I know Alyssa Slotkin has round-the-clock police protection.
Yeah.
Well, they have
They targeted Mark Kelly. He's
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
And he's a hero.
He's a hero.
He is a real
Right.
hero.
Yeah.
Court-martial him.
But that's
It's a
all
circus.
because of,
You know, from day one, my
That
daughter
guy.
said the judges will save us. Slowly, but can she make them work a little more or faster? Because they are saving us.
Well, with Comey and what
Yes,
happened the other
yes.
day, or was it yesterday? You know, that the judge finally said, you know, show me the kangaroo, because this is the kangaroo court. But there's got to be sort of a spark. We don't have that. We don't have that.
I
If
think
only
that's
Trump
the
would say,
people.
hey, I'd like to get out of here. I'm going to do something so they really will impeach me. You're like, impeach me, please. Get me out of here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
I think the people are going to keep going. They have people in Washington who are trying to get him impeached this weekend. I mean, crowds. I think the people are going to somehow or another, and it may not be until we have an election, which if we can get an election, they'll
Yeah.
all be gone.
You got to have a voice. You have to have somebody with a voice and a vision.
But
But
right
that's-
now,
But I'm bringing all this up to say that's what's happening
yeah,
here.
same thing.
That's what's happening here, and it happens everywhere. I mean, you can talk about Nazi Germany, and you can go all over the place. You know, the Cultural Revolution in China, you know, the Road of Bones in Russia, and it goes on and on and on. But so much of it when you see people lighting up for a sense of freedom and agency, you can bet your bottom dollar that it's going to try to be hammered down. Tyranny.
That's
So,
what we have now.
right.
Hammering it down.
And we've had versions of it over the years, over the centuries anyway, with slavery and blah, 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 and DDD. So, it's just an interesting time because for me, I can appreciate this better. Yeah, I can appreciate it a lot better because there's foment and hope and terror, and you know that's all going on. So we'll take a look at some more of that, and then how it kind of starts to get teased out a little bit to the point where we get to 325, let's say ish, where we've got Constantine. Right? This is all going to be happening. Boom, 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 boom for about 250 years. Is this impulse to free people and to create a church that affirms that in our bones we are meant to be persons of God, persons of freedom and imagination, all the good stuff that we believe in life. And then boom, Constantine rises and walks on the stage of history and says, you know, doesn't know what to do with a disparate empire. It's also very big. And so he'll say, okay, now I'm a Christian, meaning now so are you. And then it changes. It gets codified. Then it gets codified, and now you got more problems that way too. We'll talk about that too. Luther's good. Lutheranism, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
So I'm here to maybe request that you stop because they're starting their feast.
Yeah, we're done.
And the speaker or
They need this.
Yeah, but the little kids all just arrived, the grandparents.
Yeah, okay.
So
We're
the
done,
speaker
and we're
goes in
done.
there, and then I want to be able to prop the doors open because they got too hot because I heated this room so nicely.
Okay.
Wasn't it comfortable
Oh,
today?
it's awesome, yes.
And it warmed right up pretty quick, both boilers,
Oh,
so,
it's
you know,
awesome.
it was good on Sunday. But I know that if those doors are shut, if we heat this to 67, that goes to 75, so it's warm there.
Okay.
So I'll open the door.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. Thank you. Okay.